Welcome back to the backyard pond. This pond was dug from a sandy field, loaded up with bait fish, and stocked with just a handful of large and smallmouth bass. We have a bit of a windy day. I would not normally shoot a video on a windy day, but I came out to check how the aerator was doing. We changed the pumps, we fixed the air leak. It's throwing some nice bubbles right now, lots of air going into that water. Looks great, but I was looking at that and then I looked over here and we have a dead fish. We have a dead bass and it's a big one. I don't know which one it is because I can't see the tag. The tag's on the other side, but we'll check that out now. Not sure what's going on here. I only have 5, 6, 7 good bass in here, so I certainly don't want to get into a situation where I'm losing some here. I don't know if it's the huge one we put in or one of the other two. It's definitely a largemouth. I'm not sure if it's the 17-inch one or the shorter ones, but I'll grab it somehow and we'll check it out. How am I gonna get this thing? It's a little bit gross. Actually, it's a lot gross. Oh, that's a big fish. Ugh. Oh, that's got a strong smell. Oh, wow. Whew. That is tag number 4. It's the big one. That sucks. That was our 17-inch fish. My old scribbles were 4¼ pounds. Oh, that sucks. Well, that's tough. That was our big fish, 17-inch, 4¼ pound. We put it in 5 months ago. So it's been in the pond for 5 months. I don't know what happened. I'll tell you a few things that have happened in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and hopefully someone's out there that knows maybe what it is. I mean, fish probably do die of natural causes, but that's probably a rarity. I've never lost a fish before. We've gone through 3 winters now with fish in the pond. This was the easiest year for ice. We just didn't have much. The pond was open more than it's ever been in the winter. I do shut the aerator off in the winter so that we can skate on it, but never had an issue with that in the past. We went through the ice with the tractor this winter. There was no spill or anything, but there's always fluids and some chemicals on tractors and stuff like that. That was in this water right here for a little while. I can't see that being a huge issue. Again, this fish, how old is this fish? Does anyone know how long that fish has been dead? I've never weighed a dead fish before, but I'm gonna give it a shot here. That fish is actually heavier than it was when we put it in the water in the fall 5 months ago. But does a fish gain weight when it dies? Is it full of water? I don't know. 4½ pounds. It was 4¼ pounds back in late October. Well, fish number 4 deceased. That just doesn't sound right. That leaves us 5 tag bass in the pond. There's probably a couple more that I just didn't catch last fall and didn't get tagged. But yeah, I'm a little bit nervous on losing fish because I don't have that many. Not really sure what's going on with that, hoping it doesn't continue to happen. Maybe an isolated incident. So the backstory that I have, and maybe someone can figure out what's going on here. The pond aerator, it was kind of down and out for the last couple weeks, running a little bit. The brushes were kind of dead in the electric pumps. So I got those replaced. It took a little while to get some. So it didn't run the last week and a half, but it did run for a month after the ice was out. So I don't know, like it doesn't seem like it should be related. I've got a lot of oxygen coming out of this pond naturally. You can see in those underwater videos that I've done. So I can't see it being overcrowding of fish, not enough oxygen. I did find 2 dead sunfish last week, and I thought that was just related to me kind of being a fool and feeding them. I threw some pellet food in when the ice went off. I was kind of excited to see if they remembered how to feed. They did, but the water was extremely cold, and a couple days later, I found a couple dead ones, and I did a little bit of reading, and yeah, you're not supposed to feed your fish when the water is that cold. They cannot digest that food. They just hold it in their stomach, and then, problems happen. Did this bass eat fish that were sick like that and kill it? Probably not. That's, I think, a long shot too. So that's 3 floating fish, 2 small sunfish, and the largemouth bass in the last week. So really I've always seen 1 or 2 dead sunfish at the end of winter. It just happens. I probably have 100 to 200 in here, so it's not a big number by any means. But I do get a little bit nervous when I see a prize fish like that floating dead. Water temperature is very cold. We're at like 34 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's pretty much all the clues that I have. I'm hoping somebody knows what's going on. There's always some really good comments from the pond people. Is there an issue possibly with turning the aerator on when the ice is coming off? Can you do that too soon, too late? I've never had an issue in the past with fish loss under the ice. This thing I turned on right when the ice was melting. It's been on for about 3 weeks, on and off with the motor issues, but is there a delicate area there where you aerate underneath the ice before the ice is open? I don't know. That's the only other thing I can think of, but hopefully somebody knows what's up. I was just cleaning up and walking around the pond, and I do see some minnows with like that white fuzzy nose, or you see that little bit of it's almost like some kind of bacteria on them. I think a lot of fisher people have seen them, where you just kind of see a minnow. It's a little messed up, swimming slow, got that furry little disease on them. And I'm just curious, this is disgusting already. Am I going to talk myself into cutting this fish open to see if anything's in its stomach? I find it surprising that it did gain a 1/4 pound over the winter. I mean, maybe they do feed harder than I thought in cold water, but this is pretty gross. But I know if I leave this fish right here, it's gonna be gone in the morning. Something's gonna get it. And I'll never have a chance to see inside that stomach, but it's also extremely disgusting. So I'm trying to talk myself into cutting that fish open right now. This video may never see the light of day, but I'm going to attempt this. I'm kind of downwind. This fish stinks. Thankfully, it's not really warm today, but the flies have already found it. Oh man, I don't know if I can do this. Whew. Oh boy. Whew. The wind died. I need some wind. Wow. Yikes. I haven't barfed since grade 3, 1990. It's been a really good streak. I'm proud of that streak, but it might end today. Oh, how do I do this? Is this thing gonna pop? No. Oh boy, I need some wind. Should have brought a mask. Oh, now I touched my shirt. This is gross. I can't get to the stomach. Oh my God. Oh. Holy cow. Oh, come on. Pick up wind. Okay. I don't think it's been dead that long, even though it does smell like it has. Okay, good wind, good wind. What is that? Stomach? Okay, get out of there. Oh, don't like that color of fluid. Don't splash. Don't splash in my face. I don't want to grab in there. Am I just going to reach in and pull everything out? I don't want to really even feel that right now. Oh, it's cold. Oh. Oh. Is that the stomach? No. Oh. Now I got it all over the knife. Is that the stomach? So I'm not going to show you the inside of the fish. Nobody needs to see that. Kind of looks fairly normal. Haven't filleted too many bass in my life, but the stomach is here and it's pretty much empty. There is some white mucus inside, creamy colored mucus. Pretty disgusting. Not sure if that is a tip for anyone trying to solve this case, but that's all I can really see here that looks unusual. Down the throat, kind of okay. Top of the mouth is like kind of swollen, but that might just be a death thing. Well, that's pretty much the complete autopsy for fish number 4. Other than that, the fish looks normal. Nothing jammed in the stomach, no diseased minnows or fish. So I don't know. Maybe it was oxygen, winter kill. I don't know. Hopefully somebody does. And hopefully no more show up here. I'm really hoping we don't have a floater every day here until I have no fish left. So it's been 2 weeks since we had the floating dead fish. No other signs of death, no minnows, no sunfish, and certainly no bass floating. So probably a good sign. We got 6 inches of snow last night here, so it's kind of crazy. Everything's starting to melt. You can see my Drain is working great. My little waterfall eaves trough drain's taking the water from the house, getting it into the pond nice and clean and neat. Trying to eliminate that runoff to keep that water quality clear. But I don't know. I'm going to keep this video going a little bit longer before we clean it up and put it up. 2 weeks now. I'll go another week or so and see, but I don't know what killed that fish. I'm happy that I don't have another bunch of fish floating, but kind of strange. Hopefully people will kind of put everything together and give me their best guess on what happened. Next week's forecast looks really good. There's warm temperatures coming. This snow will be gone here in a day. This was kind of a weird one with 6 inches of snow last night. The ground's actually been warming up. The pond water's warming up too. So we should soon see the fish start to come alive, start to get into the mode of spawning. The minnows will start first. They'll be more active. Then the sunfish will start, and hopefully those bass will start. Back at the pond, and it has been over a month. It's been like 5 weeks since that dead fish washed up over there. Happy to report we've had no other dead fish, no other dead minnows, no other dead sunfish. So I think we're kind of out of the woods here on this one. I would love to figure out what happened to that fish. I highly doubt it was just natural causes or old age or anything like that. There's some really good comments I've had in the past, a lot of pond people that know a lot more than I do about what goes on with backyard bass ponds. And I was hoping someone could crack the pond scene investigation case here. What we know is the ice was coming off the pond. I hooked up my aerator. It kind of went on the fritz. I needed some new solar pumps. Took a week and a half or so to get those. So that aerator worked hard for maybe 10 days, then didn't work. And then we hooked it back up, and it worked really hard because we solved all our problems and we were putting more air into this pond than I probably have in a year. However, shortly after that, I saw the bass wash up on shore. So probably something in that range happened. I dumped the tractor through the ice. That was a bit of a disaster. You know, some contaminants there. I highly doubt that was an issue. Shortly after the bass died, I did see some of my minnows kind of have that white fungusy weird disease on them swimming around, kind of weird. I've seen that at bait shops and, you know, just fishing in general. So I don't think that would ever kill the bass. I did gut it and cut the stomach open. There was really nothing in there but a creamy mucus, which was another tip there, but I don't know. I'm hoping someone has a breakthrough here and just says, yeah, that's exactly what it was. If it was oxygen, I would think that I would lose a smallmouth first. I think the smallmouth are a bit more finicky and harder to keep. So to lose the largemouth and the smallmouth, I mean, they're just here smashing minnows right now. Like, they're still doing great. I'm not sure on that. It is the biggest fish though. We did lose the biggest fish in here. So the larger the fish, the more, you know, oxygen and health it probably needs. So there might be a case there. My gut feeling on this is the aeration time with the ice. I think that's the only thing that really makes the most sense. And there's probably a little bit of information out there that I'm going to read up on when that aerator turns on under the ice. Is it too soon? Is it too late? Is it a little mix of both there where the machine was on and off? That is my gut feeling. There's probably been some experience there where people turn an aerator on under the ice and bad things can happen. And I'm thinking I fell into that category. But so anyway, that one's gonna wrap this one up. We are now closing in on spawning season. I've got some minnows on order. We're gonna do some major bait loading here in the next week. Get ready for spawning. I've got some rock work put in, a little bit of beds. Hopefully these smallmouth and a couple of largemouth that I have in here will spawn, and we can get that on camera here in the future. But going into major bait feeding time, and the water's warming up. It's finally spring, so hopefully we don't lose any more fish. Thanks for watching this one. Hopefully someone knows more than I do about this, and we have a bit of a breakthrough here and can solve this case.